GMO stands for genetically modified organism. Humans have been using artificial selection for thousands of years, but it wasn't until the 1990s that GMOs were first used in mass food production. Artificial selection, or selective breeding, is simply our way of intentionally breeding plants and animals in a way that emphasizes a particular trait. In the 80s, some smarty-pants scientists realized that they could alter the genetic code of certain plants to make them resistant to things like drought, disease, and pesticides. And voila! GMOs were born. Wait, did you catch that? GMOs are not inherently bad. We've been messing with the genetic code of plants and animals for thousands of years. This is simply the first time we've been able to use molecular biology to do so. The most widely used GMO crops are corn, soybean, cotton, and canola. In some cases, these crops have been modified to produce pesticides within their tissues, which eliminates the need for traditional chemical pesticides. However, there has been a bit of controversy over GMOs in the past few years. Hopefully this list of pros and cons will help clear up some of that confusion. Are you ready? Of course you are. Here are some of the pros. GMOs improve resistance to pesticides, insects, and extreme weather, creating healthier and more reliable crop yields. GMOs have a much longer shelf life than traditional crops, which allows for transport to countries without access to nutrient-rich crops. GMOs are easier on the environment. Better crops means less time, money, and energy spent on them. Less land is used and less pollution and soil erosion occurs during the production. For example, farmers growing corn, cotton, and potatoes no longer have to spray Bt because the crops produce their own insecticides. GMOs yield more robust and nutritious crops, which can help fight malnutrition. And scientists have been able to engineer certain GMOs to produce vaccines and useful proteins in a process called farming. Now, here are some of the cons. GMOs can cause severe allergic reactions in certain individuals. Since the genetic code of the organism is being altered, new proteins are being produced that would not be present in the original organism. To increase crop immunity, some GMOs have been engineered to have antibacterial qualities. Eating these can lessen effectiveness of actual antibiotics. Genes added to GMOs can actually migrate from one species to another, which can present a problem if herbicide-resistant genes were to make their way into weeds. The consequences would be irreversible. However, much of the research done on this has been inconclusive, and many scientists are still divided on the issue. So there you have it, GMOs. It's important to remember that although artificial selection has been around for thousands of years, GMOs have only been around for a few decades, so many of the long-term effects on our population may be unclear. However, all GMOs that you would find in the store are regulated by the FDA, and the conversation within the scientific community is constantly developing. There's no reason to run and hide from GMOs, but if you are trying to avoid them, you can always buy food that is labeled non-GMO or organic. But remember, non-GMO does not necessarily mean that it is also organic. It's always important to buy your food locally, understand your labels, and know more about what goes on your table.